You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. There has never been Good afternoon. It's Friday, October 3rd, 2025. This is your weather enthusiast, Simcha Lefton. You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. We have some weather extremes and some unseasonably hot weather that has developed here in the Midwest, along with in Eretz Yisrael. In Israel, we have some record heat that has been occurring. This is for October 3rd. Temperatures at Ben Gurion International Airport hit 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius. In Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, we have some weather stations which reported a high temperature of 90 degrees. Could be some conflicting information over there, but we have very high temperatures across the country in general over there, with lots of hundreds being reported. Also, dew points dropped for a short period of time in Tel Aviv, and just enough for those temperatures to hit 100 degrees. Then they went right back up. Going back into our country over here, this is quite phenomenal what we have. You know, the temperature has ever hit 90 degrees here in Chicago for the season is October 6th. That happened back in 1963. We're holding right now October 3rd, and we have temperatures getting very close to 90 degrees this afternoon. This is quite phenomenal. And you go over into South Dakota, temperatures downslope of the Black Hills forecasted high, says the National Weather Service, upper 90s this afternoon, October 3rd, 2025. Temperatures tomorrow, cold front moves through South Dakota, snow on the top of the Black Hills. Today's high temperature over there in the 70s, upper 90s again, down slope. A rain system moves in for tomorrow. This is associated with the cold front. It's a slow-moving cold front. This low-pressure system moves up into Canada over the weekend. It finally brings its front through the Chicago area on Monday, but temperatures remain above room temperature, 59 degrees or higher through much of the week next week, which is good to know for Sukkot. The National Weather Service has gone with the phrase of when in drought, leave out. That's the phrase they're working with for next week for Monday's system, and therefore they've left precipitation, for the most part, they've left it out of the forecast. European computer model shows that rain after the front moves through, possible for Monday evening into Monday night. The National Weather Service has left out the precipitation mentioned, at least for the areas along the front. Chances of precipitation after the front moves through. We also have some type of a minor system this afternoon, which is picking up on radar vapor, the vapor imagery, according to the National Weather Service, right around the St. Louis area. But the air is so dry here on the surface that and the drought that we're not expecting for precipitation to develop here in the Chicago area, other than a few clouds, and also we have some mixing. Dew points were in the 60s, but they've dropped into the 50s. Of this extended spell of heat, today looks to be the highest temperature for the Chicago area. Highs upper 80s. We may hit 90 degrees in some spots, currently 87 degrees at O'Hare Airport. Temperatures get a little bit cooler over the weekend for Shabbos and Sunday for most of the Chicago area. But if you're along the lakefront, temperatures are actually going to get warmer for Shabbos and Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, as temperatures today are going to be influenced a little bit by a lake breeze if you're along the lake, so highs only in the lower 80s, but temperatures going into the mid-80s area-wide for both Saturday and Sunday. Front moves through Monday evening, bringing seasonal temperatures back into the region. And then the big question is for next weekend into the beginning parts of next week. And, you know, if you look at the weather map, here's the thing. You have a trough in the East Coast bringing cooler than average temperatures, and we have a ridge going through the plains bringing another heat wave. Hot weather expected in the plains. That's for next weekend into the beginning part of the following week. That's already for the Yontif, for Simchas Torah, as that heat moves towards the Chicago area. Temperatures expected to go It's hard to say the word expected this far in advance, but we do have indicators that even a ridge of heat will be developing in the southern portions of our country, moving north, affecting the St. Louis area with several consecutive days of highs in the low 90s. For October, that's something phenomenal. Some computer models do show that the low pressure, the trough of the East Coast, will be a little bit further west than the other models, which would bring the cooler air into the Chicago region. But at some point, it does seem like the warmth will hit the Chicago area for at least a day. We might be looking in, however, for several days of unseasonably warm temperatures. A repeat of this weekend is possible for the Chicago area for next weekend. And in fact, that's what it kind of is looking at right now as temperatures soar into the 80s and temperatures in the 90s, the low 90s for the St. Louis area. The reason why the heat is so intense, let's say, for October, for temperatures to go into the low 90s, despite the short days and the weakening sun, is due to the lower dew points. The lower dew points allows the sun to be more efficient at heating the temperatures up, and therefore we can get a temperature of 90 degrees this time of the year. But even with that, even with the high efficiency of the sun heating things up, just the lower angle of the sun is significant enough that the latest 90 degree to ever occur here was October 6th. Elsewhere around the country, well, we have that heat building up, but we don't know exactly where it's going to be again for next weekend into the beginning part of the following week. Some locations are definitely in the warmth. Some locations are definitely in the cool, such as the East Coast. But Chicago is where we do not know. But it does look like a higher chance of it being warm than cool. And then in St. Louis, higher chances of it being warm. We do have 5 or 6 tropical systems around the globe right now, but in general, things are below normal. And for right now, everyone enjoy the unseasonably warm weather right now here in the Midwest. Even the upper 90s in the South Dakota area is coming with dew points in the 40s, so it shouldn't really be so bad. Southwest Kansas, temperatures in the mid-90s. For that area, may see 100-degree readings around Phoenix, Arizona. That will bring the weather right now to an end. I wish everybody a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Chag kosher v'sameach. Weather actually never really comes to an end, but we're going to go over the songs in the background. Borrow from Blue Dot Sessions was in the beginning, and then we have a Glass Beads, also Blue Dot Sessions. That's what's playing right now. And if we're on long enough, we might be getting Curious Outcomes on Blue Dot Sessions. But right now, we're going to be playing a trailer, and this consists of different extracts of what's been on this weather podcast over the past year or so, to share lots of the excitement that goes on here frequently. You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. There has never been a forecast discussion that has produced more of a racing heart. We have an inspirational powerhouse storm developing here in the Midwest. Major winter storm develops in the eastern portions of the Midwest. Good evening. We have gone into one of the most exciting weather patterns. We have an active weather pattern taking place. This is something which the Washington Post has described as a true rarity. We've just seen 6 consecutive days with record-breaking temperatures. High temperature 113 degrees at Sky Harbor International Airport. Feet of snow are falling in Japan.
Oh my gosh.
Weather. That's a time of celebration. Just Google Weather with Enthusiasm and they're all going to come up. Several additional feet of snow is expected by Monday morning. Although we heard that laugh, that actually was from a lake effect. That was a lake effect snowstorm that happened in Buffalo, New York, back in 2022. And the National Weather Service was forecasting several feet of additional snowfall accumulation by Monday morning. Thank you for listening. I wish everybody a wonderful day.